Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Automation, and today we are checking out two Smart Pet products from Xiaomi. So this is the Smart Pet Food Feeder, which actually dispenses food onto this bowl, and this is the Smart Pet Fountain, which dispenses water. Now, these are two very interesting Smart Pet products that I've been using them for a while already, and it is something that I never thought that I would need it because as everyone else who keeps a pet like a dog or cat at home, they probably wouldn't think of investing in this one because it is usually very expensive, but little did I know that these two products have actually saved me a lot of inconveniences. And here's all you need to know about them. Now let's start off with the Xiaomi Smart Pet Fountain. Now this is a very common form factor that you will see out there on some other electrified pet fountains out there, and it is actually powered by a barrel port, which is actually a little unfortunate because I thought it would have been a battery powered one so that I can just use it wirelessly and it would probably last for a month before it requires a charge. Now taking up this top compartment here, this is how it looks like. This is the entire tank of the Smart Pet Fountain. So it is actually a pretty good design, so you can actually wash the internals if you actually want to. And if you see, there is actually an empty gap here so that you can see the water levels through here. This is actually a very convenient feature, and whenever it actually runs out of water, it will actually flash a red color light to tell that it is running out of water already. Now the Smart Pet Fountain has rubber feet at the bottom, so just in case your pet is a reckless one, you do not need to worry about it pushing it forward or back so that it will spill water on the floor, and that is actually a very thoughtful feature. On the front, you get two buttons to switch between two different dispensing modes. One is a continuous supply of water, and the other one is in a timely manner, like it will only supply water like every 30 minutes or so, which is actually customizable via the Xiaomi Mi Home app. Now let me show you how the Smart Pet Fountain filters water, because just like us humans, pets deserve to drink clean water. So let me take up this panel here. There's this nice little latch here that I can just lift it up. So you'll notice that there is a tube here and this little block here which actually houses the filter. So you will need to change the filter every 30 days. That's actually the recommended procedure, but personally I have never changed it at all because every time when I see water flowing out, it doesn't really have some form of residue or any dust or whatever that's coming out right here. So every time when your pet drinks water from the top here, their tongue will bound to have some crumbles or something from kibbles, which essentially becomes dust or some debris, right? So it will actually flow down onto this hole right here every time when it dispenses water. And when it goes down to the storage compartment here, you actually see there's actually a lot of dust and the water becomes dirty over time. And that's just what happens when you put a bowl of water next to your pet, and every day or maybe after a few days later, you will realize that the water is very dirty with a lot of fur residue and some crumbles off their food as well. And look at this water tank right here. It is very dirty already, but all thanks to this filter right over here, it tends to filter all those dust and still supply clean water to your pet. Now let's check out the Smart Pet Food Feeder. To be honest, this form factor really reminds me of a robot vacuum's dust station, but right inside here, it actually stores 1.8 kilograms worth of kibbles. I'm just going to show you how. Now there's a button on the back here, which you just need to press, and you just lift it up like this. And it's just that simple. Now on the top here, there's actually a desiccant, which is some sort of filter to actually not let the odor of the kibble come out of the case, which is actually a very thoughtful thing. You will also need to replace this every 30 days if you want to, but personally I don't think that is necessary. You can actually replace this probably about 2 to 3 months later if you don't want any odor of the kibble coming out of this case here. Now this is how you store kibbles right here. Right, there's about, I guess it's about 1 kilograms left because I've actually used this for a couple of days already. Now, what I'm super impressed is the bowl right here. This is the bowl of the Smart Pet Food Feeder. And if your pet happens to be the reckless one and tends to move their plate around, do not worry about that because this is magnetically attached. So it's really impossible for your pet to just push around because all they do is to just push the bowl all the time when they consume their food. Now, this Pet Food Feeder is actually powered by a DC plug as well. It's not USB-C. It also doesn't have a battery right inside. So just in case if you want to use this wirelessly, unfortunately, there is actually no way to do so. So there's a button on the top of the cover here that manually dispenses food when you want to do it. And there are 3 LED indicators to show the status of the Smart Pet Food Feeder. So let's just fire up these 2 devices. And of course, I have my dog here, and let's try it out on him. So here's my pet Shiba Inu. Her name is Nico and it's her first time on camera. So, just give it a thumbs up if you love her. So we're just gonna show how these things work. I think Nico is really excited to eat some food already. So I'm just gonna dispense food from the pet feeder right now. All right, she is drinking water right now. As you can see, the pet water is dispensing water already continuously. And let's just press the button and food is gonna come out. All right, there you go. Nico is very curious on why it is like this. Okay, so apparently she's not interested in the kibble and we're just going to let her eat for being brave here. Here you go, Nico. Here you go. All right, now let me show you some other features of the Smart Pet food feeder before I forget. So like the Smart Pet fountain, you can actually remove the food compartment just like this, just in case if you want to refill the food easily. Now this is the storage compartment of the pet food feeder. Is actually pretty big and it stores up to 1.8 kilograms, which Xiaomi says that you can supply up to 20 days of food, but I guess that depends on the size of your dog really, because if it is for a really large sized dog, you might actually need to dispense more food than usual for them to eat, otherwise they will actually starve. Now let me just get on over to the app of these two devices and show you some of the things that you can do on the Mi Home app. Okay, let's start off with the Xiaomi Smart Pet Fountain. Now, this is what you see inside the Mi Home app. It is very straightforward. You can stop water supply over the app, which is actually very convenient if you're not at home. And you can switch between the standard and smart mode, just like what I mentioned earlier. You can press this button to switch between these two modes as well. The standard mode will continuously supply water, and the smart mode will just supply every 10 minutes and pause for 10 minutes after that. And I don't know how smart is that, but you basically get it. It's just a way of probably saving power, I guess. Now, here's the carbon filter and pre-filter remaining days, which has just been reset earlier on when I reset the Wi-Fi connection on this because it was previously connected to my home Wi-Fi, all right? Now, let's check out some of the other features here. So there's the indicator option here. You can turn on or off to know the status of the Smart Pet Fountain. And let's check out some of the automation features, shall we? So let's tap on the plus button here, and we're just going to filter out the pet water dispenser here. So if low water level, so what we would do, so let's say if it has low water level, I can actually give it an automation. I'll just say probably I'll just press send notifications to phone, which it already does already, but you can definitely do some other things right here, such as probably ask your alarm to siren in the house so that you know that the Smart Pet Fountain has already run out of water. But this is the things that you can do when you have a smart device, and especially when it is tied to a particular smart home ecosystem, you can do all those automations, right? So that's pretty much on the Smart Pet Fountain. It is actually very, very straightforward. And now let's get on to the Smart Pet Food Feeder. Nico, let's head on to the home screen here, and we are going to head on to the Xiaomi Smart Pet Fountain. Okay, so here's the thing. The Smart Pet Food Feeder only supports the very regular size kibbles here. So you can see here, it will tell that what kind of kibble shape it doesn't support, such as triangular, square, crescent, or the star type of kibble. So make sure your kibble is the regular round or oval shaped kibble, otherwise it might actually get stuck while dispensing, all right? So let's just tap on I have read and understood. So there is an automatic feeding schedule that you can do, which I previously set, but let me just show you guys on how you can do it here. So let's tap on app feeding schedule. So dispensing time, you can actually set a particular time here, let's say 12 p.m., right? We are just gonna go back to 0 minutes and press confirm, and portions to dispense. So one portion is about 5 grams here. So let's just set it to 15 portions, all right? And let's press OK and tap on the tick button here, all right? So once you're done, there will be a schedule right here that you can set to automatically dispense food every time when it is that time. So it actually really saves you a lot of convenience on manually feeding your pet. You can just have the Smart Pet food feeder automatically dispense food out of the storage, right? Now, there is also a pet profile that you can set as well. So let's just head on over to my pets here. So I have Cory, which is my corgi. I haven't set here, but I'm not sure why it is not paired, because probably I just reset the Wi-Fi connection on this thing here. So let's just tap on tick here, and you can actually generate a feeding schedule based on your pet's profile, because notice that I have actually set his profile right here, such as his weight and how old he is and what type of breed he really is. So it's really interesting that Xiaomi has actually put all these pet profiles onto the Smart Pet food feeder. So let's just try to generate a feeding schedule profile based on my pet's profile, right? And let's just tap on tick right now, and it is going to ask me whether I want to generate a feeding schedule. Yes, we are going to do that right now, and takes a while. So this is the recommended feeding schedule. So 6 a.m., 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. So it's basically about every 6 hours of difference. So it will actually distribute 15 portions of food, which is about 75 grams. So I'm not sure if that is actually the right feeding the right feeding portion, because personally I feed my dog about 300 grams in a day. That's the recommended kind of portion based on the weight. But this is just a reference. I mean, you don't necessarily need to use this, but then, yeah, you get the idea. If you're someone that's unsure of what is the portion that you should feed your dog, this is actually a pretty good feature. But as always, seek advice from your vet on whether you should feed this much of food, because it really depends on your pet's health. So there you go. After when I have successfully set the schedule already, it will actually generate right here. So apparently you can actually set, if I'm not mistaken, you can set multiple dogs right here, but I'm sure this is probably dedicated to just one dog or cat in your house only. So we can also manually dispense food right here. So let's say I dispense 8 portions, right? Let's say it's 40 grams, and I'm just going to tap OK. And there you go, dispenses food like this. So there is a reason why Xiaomi says that you should be using some regular size kibbles, because look at the size of my kibble here. It's not exactly a really small piece of kibble. This is a vegetarian kibble, by the way. It's not really small. So there's a size recommendation that you should put into your Smart Pet food feeder so that it dispenses the correct amount portion of food here. Now let's check out the automation features of the Smart Pet food feeder, right? So there are of course a couple of settings here. There is also a child lock feature, just in case if your kid is pretty, they have pretty itchy hands, they couldn't touch the Smart Pet food feeder, which you don't want to do that. So it will actually disable this button, by the way, to avoid them pressing for food to come out. And of course, there's a food compartment cleaning guide. If you want to just go through, you can actually go through that. And there is automation, all right? So we are going to find out what are the automation features that you can do. So let's tap the if filter feeder, and we're just going to do the Xiaomi Smart Pet food feeder. If dispense food, so what happens when it dispenses food? So there is only just one if automation, all right? Then you can do anything right here. You can run a scene, probably turn on the light somewhere else for your pet to see the food properly, or you can probably just, as usual, send a notification to the phone, or maybe a good idea is to have your air fryer start frying some regular food that you usually cook for your pet. So yeah, that's just some of the cool automation features that you can do on the Smart Pet food feeder, and there's just only one if, which is to dispense food, which makes a lot of sense. Overall, I'm very satisfied with the Xiaomi Smart Pet food feeder and pet fountain. They really save me a lot of inconveniences whenever I'm not at home and I don't really have time to monitor, especially their water supply, which is something that you tend to forget all the time whenever you feed them. I mean, not so much on the food, because you know there's a fixed feeding schedule that you will do all the time, but having these two smart gadgets are really essential if you have a dog at home. So yep, that's pretty much on my review on the Xiaomi Smart Pet food feeder and pet fountain. A big shout out to Xiaomi for sending these things over, because these are really cool gadgets. So that's all for this episode of Automation, and thank you very much for watching. Do stay tuned for more coming right up, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't. And I'll see you guys in our next one. Bye, Nico. Bye bye.